Okay, if I could just have everybody turn their microphones on and the meeting will begin momentarily.
Call the meeting to order at 12:32. And the first order is the territorial land acknowledgement. I'll read it. Before our meeting gets underway, I would like to formally recognize the traditional keepers of this land and specifically our neighbors of the Alderville First Nation with a formal territorial acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge that the Township of Alnwick-Haldeman is located on the Mississauga Anishinaabe territory and is the traditional territory of the Mississauga Anishinaabe. The Township of Alnwick-Haldeman respectfully acknowledges that the Mississauga Nation are the collective stewards and caretakers of these lands and waters in perpetuity, and that they continue to maintain this responsibility to ensure their health and integrity for generations to come. We'll now do a moment of silence for our fallen soldiers and citizens. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof? Seeing none. Item 5, approval of the agenda as circulated. Be it resolved that the agenda for the regular council session of Thursday, October 7th, 2021 be approved as circulated. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Phil, second. Councillor Hawk. All in favor? Carried. Item 6, approval of the minutes for the regular council session minutes of September 16th. Be it resolved that the regular council session minutes of September 16th, 2021 be approved. Could I have a mover, please? Deputy Mayor Gibson, second. Councillor Philip. All in favor? Carried. Item 7, are there any business, is there any business arising from the previous minutes? Anyone? Seeing none. Item 8 is the Building and Planning Department report from Daryl Hall. Be it resolved that report number 1 from Daryl Hall, CBO, MBEO Planning Assistant dated October 7th, 2021, rebuilding permit summary, September 21 be received and filed. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Booth, and the second, Councillor Phillip. Want to take us through that, Daryl, please?
Sure. Well, good afternoon, Your Worship and Council. Yeah, this is just my typical summary report per month. You can see that, we have 136 total permits out there right now, which is good to be in October. I think we're about 10 or 11 ahead of this number in October 1st than we were last year. 44 new single family dwellings to date started, with I think at least 3 more on the desk. So we may not be at 54 for the end of this year. I don't know. It depends what comes in for the end of this year, where we were last year for single family dwellings, but it's been a good year. I would say we'd be up around, speculating up around the 50 mark. So that's a good year again for single family dwellings in the township. Then there's just a breakdown of the other permits there, so I can answer any questions anybody has with respect to the summary report.
Any questions for this report? Deputy Mayor Gibson?
Yeah, through you, Mayor Latchford, to Daryl. And just a question, because I'm curious, has there been any feedback from people with development charges since the county development charges have been included?
No real negative feedback. There was a little questions. There's always questions when we send everything out for development charges and why they're there. But people seem to understand when we give them the information, and really hasn't been any real negative feedback on it at all.
Thank you.
Councillor Philip?
Yes, through the mayor. I noticed, Daryl, that the swimming pools have more than doubled this year. Do you attribute that to the COVID and the stay at home, do it in your own backyard kind of theory, or do you have another thought on that?
I do. I really do. If you noticed, I think if you talk to boat dealers, you'd notice boats have gone up as well, and recreational stuff. So yeah, lots of pools. Attributed to Glens Antrim in the subdivision as well for the pools. There was probably 4 or 5 of them went in even in that subdivision alone this year. So yeah, I think a lot of people are staying home and spending their money, whether they go on vacations and stuff, but they're spending it around their house. So I definitely say that would be a big factor in it. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Carried. Item 9, and Troy's going to do this one. Brian's absent. This is report number PW 2021-12 from Brian McMillan. Be it resolved that report number PW 2021-12 from Brian McMillan, Public Works Manager, dated October 7th, 2021, re Mercer Lane speed limited reduction, be received, and further that council direction is required. Can I have a mover? Deputy Mayor Gibson, second. Councillor Philip. Okay, Troy.
Thank you. Yes, just as the report suggests, it's to reduce the speed limit from an 80 zone down to a 40. As council has seen on the tour, it's a short little stretch that leads into commercial property. It is gravel. And, we have taken, the radar and collected the data, and it's definitely, all the data definitely suggests that it is reduced to a 40. So there is heavy traffic there. There's no need to be going 80. So I think it really makes sense to drop this section of road down to 40. I'll answer any
Thank you.
questions.
Is that your motion to drop it?
Yes, I was going to approve the recommendation that the speed limit reduction take place October 15th, 2021.
Okay, thank you. Any further comments? Questions? All in favor? Carried. Item 10, Fire Department, Council Report Number FD 2021-9 from Dave Dawson, Fire Chief. Be it resolved that Council Report Number FD 2021-9 from Dave Dawson, Fire Chief, dated October 7th, 2021, a draft bylaw to regulate fireworks be received, and further that council will be also direction from council will be required. Can I have a mover to get that on the floor, please? Councillor Hawk, second. Deputy Mayor Gibson. Okay, Chief Dawson's with us, I see. I saw.
Yeah, he was there.
Dave, are you there? Maybe council have any comments on this? Maybe Dave's busy.
Yeah, we can talk about it, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead, and then we can ask him questions when he comes back on. Okay.
Through
Councillor
the
Crowe?
mayor, and I see that the deputy mayor Gibson is interested in having a conversation on this one as well. I've read through the report and the recommendation. I do support the recommendation. Having been a counselor who has received some complaints about fireworks at all times of the year around rental properties in our area, I think it is a good move forward, and I'm hoping that it will bring this issue to a close. So that would be my response.
Sure.
I'm really glad to see this on the agenda today because I know it's been an issue for several weeks. And I think Acting Clerk Kemp helped a lot with this. So you might be able to answer some questions if you don't mind. And I have no concerns with the way the bylaw is written. My concern comes with actually enforcing it. And do we have the staff available that we will actually be able to enforce a bylaw efficiently?
So, through you, Madam Mayor, the township is planning on using both our bylaw enforcement officer, Daryl, and also our fire chief, but also any officers from the fire department, because that's the only way you would be able to enforce it, especially all these complaints are going to come after office hours are closed, so.
Does that require special training on the part of the firefighters?
They should. Sorry. They should take some kind of bylaw enforcement just so that they, first of all, are knowledgeable in the bylaw that they are enforcing. And then second, to make sure that they protect themselves. Because sometimes when we send people out to bylaw enforcement infractions, there's been alcohol involved and it makes people in a different venue than what you would see them normally on the street. So I would suggest, yes, there should be some kind of training.
And that training is covered off, will be covered off within the fire department budget.
Yes,
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Councillor Booth?
Yes, just a quick question, and maybe this can go to, through you, your worship, to Daryl. Daryl, do you know when it talks about the mobile sale of fireworks, have we in the past or just lately had any mobile setups where they're selling them like from the side of the road, or I guess it's when they have like a tractor trailer in a parking lot or something and they sell? Have you noticed any of that in the town?
We ourselves have not had any of those. You know, for us, I think it's a lot of fireworks are ready and available out at the on the First Nations land, so we don't get the mobile ones here. So yeah, no, to answer that question, no, I have not seen any mobile ones set up.
Okay, thank you. It's just, it was very well written where it actually talked about the regulations for that, and there are certain rules that when they set up and that's nice to see. And the
Yeah, I
same
just think it-
concern that Deputy Mayor Gibson had would be the enforcement of it, that in the future, you know, you guys might have to go out and talk to them. Okay, thank you.
Can I just add a little bit on the enforcement end of it?
Sure.
You know,
Go ahead.
probably will, you know, looking and further talking with Fire Chief Dawson on this, we'll probably look at a lot of our enforcement, especially if it's on a weekend or we know fireworks and you know, we'll probably take the police along with us in some of these cases in order for just peacekeeping. And probably a lot of it off the start will be just education on these people, because a lot of people don't know if there's a bylaw in effect, right? So for the first little bit, it probably is going to be a lot of education on that end. But that's something further that Chief Dawson and myself can discuss on how we can do it. So I would assume we would be taking the police, for peacekeeping on some of these too as well.
Thanks, Joe. Anything further? No. I appreciate and like the separation for Victoria Day and Canada Day. Some of the families around have that for the kids, and it's they do it safely, and it's nice for them, the children. So glad to see that in there. And a little concern with maybe some Airbnbs or other rentals that how do we make sure the owners are aware? So if you were going out, maybe I can answer my own question, Daryl, as educating, would that then constitute maybe a letter to that landowner as one of the follow-ups?
As
If
far,
it's a
yeah,
rental?
as far as an Airbnb or rental units, I know that Jennifer is working on a report to come to council for regulating or not regulating Airbnbs.
Yeah.
And I would think, when we do get something in place in our zoning bylaw for the Airbnbs, we'll reference back this bylaw as well, so that Airbnbs do know this information and that they need to adhere to it. So I would think they would probably go hand in hand in the zoning bylaw for that.
Okay, thank you. I just have a concern with that because I don't believe we always know.
No,
Might be
unfortunately, we don't know
lesson to
about a
learn.
lot of, when people are going to, I guess, I don't know what the lack of better words, not adhere to a bylaw. We don't know anytime when they're not going to, right? So it's just
Yeah,
education off the bat, I guess. And Dave could probably speak a little more to it now that he's here, but I think education off the bat is what we're going to have to do for sure.
okay, thank you. Okay, Dave,
Hi,
we had a couple of concerns,
yes,
and one was educating people on the bylaw, especially those who rent out their places.
yes,
And Daryl explained that probably a lot of it at the start might be education.
well, 100%. As we get complaints, we'll have to deal with it with education. We'll have to pass out the bylaw. The bylaw would be great if we were able to do a mailing, or I'm sure that we'll have it posted on the website. But definitely there would have to be some conversation and integrated over a period of time.
Thank you. Any further questions for Chief Dawson? No? Pat?
Just one other item was we could probably put it on the tax bill with the flyer that goes in the tax bill to make our residents know that we now have a bylaw that for fireworks enforcement. So
Sherry?
So this
Review.
is also a draft of the bylaw. Is that correct?
Yes?
Okay.
So thanks very much, Chief Dawson, for addressing this so quickly, because I know it's a major concern for many people. And I think we probably, and unfortunately, you missed the bulk of the conversation, the discussion on it. But I think that between Daryl and Pat, we've had our questions answered. I've certainly had any concerns I had answered appropriately.
Yeah, I apologize for missing that. A local resident had an emergency.
That's okay. Okay, anything further on this? So we want to put it forward now to come back as the bylaw. We're not making any changes in it, right? Okay, so that'll be your motion then, Jim, and seconded by Deputy Mayor Gibson?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, Dave and Daryl.
Thank you.
Our next report is item 11, and it's council report number F 2021-10 from Carol James, Deputy CAO, Manager of Finance, HR. Be it resolved that council report number F 2021-10 from Carol James, Deputy CAO, Manager of Finance, HR, dated October 7th, 2021, re 2021 organizational chart be received and approved. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Booth, second. Deputy Mayor Gibson. Okay. Any questions or comments on this? Oh, Councillor Booth?
Yes, I'm just wondering, I know I texted Dave late yesterday. I apologize, Dave, for this. When I was reading this over, I'm just wondering whether we need to add under the fire, the training officer and the fire prevention officer now. Whether that should come somewhere in there, I'm not sure, or.
Oh, okay, you're back one. You're back to fire?
No, we're talking about the org chart, right?
Oh, okay, I
Yeah.
got it.
Under fire chief.
Under
Because
fire.
now that we've okayed that we've added a training officer and a fire prevention officer, I'm guessing, they're they're part-time, right, Dave?
They still fall under the volunteer fire category. But they are considered part-time. They're volunteer firefighters according to the FPPA. So that's where they remain. And that's the status that they're paid. So when you have fire service captains and you have volunteer firefighters, right above volunteer firefighters, you would have your fire prevention and you would have your training officer. And we also have a mechanical officer in there if you wanted to recognize them.
Okay, that's good. And just one other I noticed is the senior planner and the CBO, Daryl there. I believe in previous drafts we've had that there was a line from the senior planner to the planning administrative assistant too, because they share Susan, right? Is that correct? Or Troy, maybe you can answer.
Yes, that's correct. They do share the administrative assistant. So we can add the line on that one and I'll work with Dave and get those positions in underneath fire. So we'll make those changes and we can bring it back.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further, Deputy Mayor?
Through you, just to follow up on that comment, Troy, about the sharing of the assistant. And in my mind, the way an organizational chart works is who is her direct supervisor, even though the response, like she shares workload with both of those people. I think the line should come under whomever her direct supervisor is, as opposed to, and maybe, we don't have any dotted lines here, which makes it complicated when you start doing that. But
Well, the original thought of that whole position was underneath Daryl, the CBO. So, I can discuss with, Daryl and Jennifer, but that was the thought of that original position coming in there and to help out with Jennifer as well. So I would say the direct supervisor maybe should be Daryl, and but we can make those changes and bring it back.
Okay, anything
Through-
further? Councillor Philip?
Through the mayor and to Sherry, Deputy Mayor Gibson. So you're looking at it from an assessing the job, and that's how you're seeing it. Yeah, that supervisor who's going to do that evaluation. Yeah.
that's how I see it, but maybe, I guess it depends on the interpretation of this
And
particular
The
chart.
last performance appraisal, it was done by both Jennifer and Daryl. They did a joint performance appraisal. So, yeah, that's just the way we have worked it, that she works for both and they both have, a say in the performance.
Yeah, you would want that clear because, performance appraisal is an important part of their development.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we'll take it back to the table and through Carol and Jennifer and Daryl, we'll make sure it's clear and defined.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Nothing further on this? Okay. So then the motion would be, you want the information back before it gets approved? You're fine with this, but we're just going
Yeah,
to get,
If Troy can confirm with staff and make changes and bring it back to council, then we should be able to pass it then, right?
So you should just defer until it's updated.
okay.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
motion then would be that it gets deferred until it's updated.
Yeah.
And brought back. Okay. All in favor? Carried.
Who made that motion then? Did the chair make it? Did you make it?
No,
No, it was
It's,
Deputy Mayor, or sorry, Councillor Booth.
Counselor Booth and
Okay.
Deputy
then
Mayor
seconded by
second.
Deputy Mayor.
Okay.
And item 12, administration. This is 12.1. Council report number A013, 2021 from Pat Kemp, acting clerk, dated October 7th, 2021. Re the Joint West Northumberland Physician and Recruitment and Retention Services Board. Be it resolved that council report number A013-2021 from Pat Kemp, acting clerk, dated October 7th, 2021, Rejoint West Northumberland Physician Recruitment and Retention Services Board be received, and further, we'll need council direction on this one. Can I have a mover, please? Deputy Mayor Gibson, second. Councillor Booth. Okay. Pat or Sherry?
So council has dealt with this in the past. Unfortunately, the agreement didn't get ratified. There were some proposed changes to the agreement, and because we have more than one municipality participating in this joint committee, but I believe it is council's direction that they wanted to proceed with the joint committee. And so now, in order to get it completed, we need to pass a bylaw authorizing the mayor and myself to sign the agreement. And then we'll let the other municipalities aware that we've done so.
Any questions? Any comment? Councillor Booth?
When I first saw this agreement a couple of years ago, I still am in favor of it, don't get me wrong. It's just, I find it very frustrating. And I know there's been a lot of taxpayers that have spoken to me about the concern that we don't actually have any doctors in A&H. I don't know, maybe Deputy Mayor Gibson or Gail Latchford can answer, or maybe even Councillor Hogg, because the long time you've been here, have we ever had a doctor in A&H? GP, general practitioner, somebody, or no, never in?
Well, there was, before my time, there was Dr. Hayden, but I don't know where he lived.
Did he look after people or goats and horses?
No, he was a medical doctor.
There's
think
nothing
you-
out our way. There is
Nothing.
in Warkworth and
I think it was in
Chelmsford, but
Colborne.
there's nothing, as far as I know, in A&H out our way.
It's just frustrating, right? I mean, people look at this and say, why are we spending the money? And when you look at the overall, it's good for Northumberland, right? That we're helping out at least to try and get doctors at Coburg or whatever,
Yeah.
but
West Northumberland.
it
yeah.
is frustrating, I know, and I would include myself, even people that move here. You can't leave your doctor. I can't leave my doctor from Ajax because I can't go on a waiting list here and wait for a doctor, But I understand the reasoning for it. It's just that, it's frustrating, that's all.
Well, I guess living in the rural areas, we probably don't think of it the same as you at all, because we've always had to travel to go to the doctor. So Coburg, Port Hope, some do go to Camelford. And there was a doctor in Crammy in Colborne, and some of our people use that doctor. So we were never big enough or had the services to attract a doctor. And so, you know, the hospital and all the offices and whatnot were always in the towns.
Is that where most of the doctors have their offices in Coburg then, I guess, or?
Coburg, Port Hope.
It's the demographics, right? It's where the population is based. And to be quite honest, doctors are in, I mean, the competition for attracting physicians to this area is pretty fierce. And so they are going where they're getting the most, you know, they're coming out of medical school, probably, the majority of them with huge debt. So they're going where they can get back some, some perks, and whether that's, through the municipality or through, other ways. But I think it's something that this council has to be aware of. If you want to attract a doctor here, let's say to Grafton, because this is where the bulk of the people live, that, the council and the municipality is going to have to work on providing some perks to attract them to this area.
Totally understand.
Okay. So I would think then the motion is to proceed with signing and send it on to the committee.
Yeah. This is really a technicality because we were under the impression that this had been done. And if you recall, we had several discussions about the agreement has been sent, but it wasn't executed in the right format. So this is really just cleaning up a former resolution from council.
Okay. All in favor? Carried. Item 12.2, report from Troy Gilmore, CAO. Be it resolved that council report number CAO-005-2021 from Troy Gilmer, CAO dated October 7th, 2021, re-coronavirus COVID-19 immunization be received, and further council direction is required for this one as well. Go ahead, Troy. Oh, I need a motion first to get it on the floor, sorry. Have a mover. Deputy Mayor Gibson, second. Yeah, Councillor Booth. Okay, sorry, Troy, go ahead.
All right, thank you. Well, as everyone has read the report and the policy, it's, I'm sure everyone was thinking it's just a matter of time. So we really are just following suit with all our neighbors and now the federal government and stuff. And to ensure employee public safety, I would like to see this get passed where mandated vaccination is a must. So we did put, I did put some dates where October 21st and then November 22nd to have everything finalized, which, I see some of our neighbors who have done it and it's like just a really rushed thing. So I do think that this is pretty lenient and gives people time. But with everything that's going on in the world, I think it needs to, it needs to go, and we need to, stay on par with everyone. I'll take any questions that anyone has. And
Deputy Mayor Gibson.
Well, it's good to see this policy brought before us. And I think this is just, bringing us, in line with all other public service organizations. But I wondered, was there any discussion on extending this policy to also essential visitors such as like contract services? Not so much delivery service in and out, but if you had somebody working in one of our buildings on a furnace, let's say for 8 hours, how are you handling that?
yeah, I do know that some have that in their policy as well, just everyone who really enters the building. So we can definitely add that. Right now, it's just a sign in and go through the checklist right now.
The way that I've handled it where I work is that we have an attestation form that goes out to contracting businesses and companies. and they're attesting on behalf of their employees that they're either fully vaccinated or are participating in at least weekly antigen testing.
Mhm.
So the onus goes back to them, so it's not, because it gets to be quite a difficult
Yeah.
thing to manage.
Yeah.
But I think it's easy to, you know, what contractors you've got to send it out, ask them to you know, sign that attestation, and then it's on file.
Yeah, we can definitely, if council agrees, we can definitely add that in the policy. But it's something that I'd like to see, you know, if all council approves, to get this approved today and get it out and stuff. But with, as long as we make that amendment, if council agrees, so I'm good with that.
And I think that that doesn't extend to delivery services, people that are coming in and out, but
Sure.
anybody who's in our buildings doing, you know,
Yep.
prolonged
No,
work.
agreed. No, that's good.
Are you in favor of the amendment, council? Councillor Philip?
I am in favor of the amendment and would offer to add it. I
Okay.
think it's Sherry's motion.
So then it would be further that we accept the report, pass the report with the amendment. For outside contractors. Anything else? Sure.
I'm happy to pass this as it is today to get it put into policy, but with like sending staff back with the task of making up that attestation form and getting that in circulation within, you know, I don't know if we want to leave it until our next meeting on the 21st, or just giving you the, you know,
Sure.
the
We can do
approval to go ahead
21st.
and do that.
Let's go to the 21st. We can do the 21st.
It will give you some time to draft a form and get your, you know, get your ducks in order.
Yeah,
get your
but this would
list.
be approved today.
This is
Yeah.
approved today,
Okay.
but with the,
Yeah.
with the further recommendation that you work on that for the 21st.
Sure.
Okay, so then it's going to change with a recommendation for staff to
Period.
develop that other form, and we'll change it at that time or add it to it. Okay. Councillor Booth?
Just a question through you, your worship, to Troy. Do we have an idea, Troy, that do we have employees that aren't vaccinated? Do you think this is going to be an issue with them, or are most of our employees vaccinated now?
Obviously, I've not, haven't right out asked staff or done a poll, sorry. But just sort of getting a feel, word of mouth and stuff, I think out of even the volunteer firefighters, so close to 90 employees on staff, I think we're, I'll say less than 3 from what I'm hearing. I could be wrong, but we'll know when this is in place, and they have to submit the forms to Carol. So, but I'm thinking that we're less than 3, and that includes, you know, part-time, everything. So,
Okay, thank you.
so I think we're in, you know, good shape considering, but still it needs to be 100%.
Okay, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Carried. Item 13, the committee reports. Be it resolved that the Lower Trent Conservation Regular Board Meeting Minutes of July 8th, 2021, the Lower Trent Conservation Hearing Board Minutes for 0.regulation 0.163/06 permit application number RP-21-134 of, wait a minute, I've lost. Of July 8th, 2021, and the Heritage Alnwick Haldeman Hall minutes of September 15th, 2021 be received and filed. Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Philip, second. Counselor Booth? Any comments or questions on any of these minutes, council? Counselor Philip?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to comment on the Lower Trent Conservation piece, and just to say that if you, when you read through it, you would realize that there aren't any hard numbers there yet. And there was some discussion at the regular board meeting about that, and it was open to what that number might look like. And certainly there were several directors who were looking at, were hoping for something less than 5% total. Lower Trent divides it into a couple of pieces, and I think we'll find after our next meeting that we'll have a better sense of what the levy is, and also what the Conservation Authority see as a reasonable increase as well. So it's usually a 1-2 punch, and then we get a number. So I will be advocating for the township, and will be advocating to be as lenient on our township as possible. But the history has been that we've been hit for around 7%. And I'm hoping that it is less than that, and I will be advocating on your behalf for that to be the case. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? I'm going to ask you this, Jim, regarding the Hall Committee. I'm just wondering if there's any history on the boats on Rice Lake, the boats that took supplies and people back and forth to Peterborough, picked up at all the stops, and
I have seen pictures, but I don't know of any actual information on. I can get that.
yeah, just if you bring it up as a discussion at the next meeting. I have pictures of the boats coming into Harwood and Gore's Landing docks, and I think Idlewild, but I'm not sure if I have anything further east than that. But it was quite a mode of transportation in a way for people to get around in the day. So I just wondered if this group had any information on it.
We actually haven't held a meeting other than emailing,
Yeah,
so that's how we're corresponding.
okay. Did you want to mention anything else?
When we get to the heritage,
Yes,
yes, I do.
okay, you can go ahead now because we're doing all three of these together.
Okay, on the heritage, on the minutes, on number 2, it was the 1880 Haldeman School Section Historic Map. And Joan Kelly, she took this upon herself, and it was in terrible condition. It was, well, I'll read what she wrote. She says, good news. She used a method called Fonori, and it's a Japanese seaweed consolidant. And I'm not sure exactly how it works, but after 3 tests and 3 batches, she figured out how to make it and use it, and it adhered to the crumpled and broken paper through the middle dried mat and consolidated all the fuzzy, felty paper and did not smear any of the pencil markings. And she is very, very pleased with the results. And this is a significant part of Haldeman history because it's all the sectional schools are the one-room schoolhouses in 1880s, and everybody was afraid to touch it because it was so fragile. And of course, the counties, Abigail Miller, she wants it to framed and displayed in the new historical building in the Golden Plow. So that was, she really done well. Everybody's taking their hat off to Joan for getting this done.
Well, that's good. And Joan puts a lot of work into this committee and seems to be really good at
Mhm.
creating ways to repair things. Good, that's good to know. Thank you. So I can call for the vote on this motion now. All in favor? Carried. Item 14, communications. And the first three are correspondence from GeoCamp, and Larry's Spycra.
Saprika.
Saprika. Read Lucy. So this is all on these are all on the wells. I'll read the motion for the first one. Be it resolved that the correspondence from GeoCamp Limited dated June 7th, 2021, re-record of meeting discussion of May 18th, 2021, Grafton BTEX Talon detection at MW-I be received and filed. Could I have a mover, please? Counselor Booth. Second. Counselor Phillip. Now, I was looking at this and maybe some others have some questions as well, not trying to know what it all says, but I'm just wondering if one of you can just give us a little brief.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As we talked a few minutes before the meeting started, it is a very cerebral report, and I have every faith in GeoCamp Limited in the detail that they go to try to protect our water and our water system. The major focus here is a chemical in the water that we're trying to figure out what its source is, and that is toluene. And it was detected in MW1, and we haven't got a significant answer to that question at this point. That being said, we have been assured by GeoCamp Limited that it is a trace amount, and so it is not it does not affect the health of our residents in any way, shape, or form at this time. And they have measured it 2 or 3 times, and it is parts per, I can't remember, was it billion or trillion?
Very low.
Very, very low. But it, and in fact, the next level of water security has basically said to GeoCamp Limited, you know, proceed, don't worry about it. It's such a small amount. But we still would like to understand what its source is. And the question by Councillor Hogg was, you know, what is the base for this? And it is, and again, please step in, Greg, but it is a chemical base. That's a man-made chemical. And we just don't know. They've ruled out the old dump that was south of there, south of the well, down between us and the reclamation center there. So we're still looking, and I think we're going to do more testing to try to determine its origin. We originally thought it might be a seepage from the foam that may have been used around the fire hall to the north, you know, and maybe some mock exercise or something like that, that it might have been a trace element from that, but that was ruled out. So we have done quite a bit of homework on this. We don't have an answer for you, Council, I'm afraid, at this point. But we are definitely doing due diligence. It is being monitored. And The committee is very excited about the possibility that our acting clerk might be successful in our grant application, because we do need a new well. And this would be another reason why we need a new well, so that we can completely write this Tulameen out of the equation. So that would be my report to council on this. You're right, it is very complicated. There's a lot of sampling and testing that goes on. And that is why GeoCamp Limited expense sheet is higher than normal. But the committee feels it is necessary to completely guarantee our water quality at this time. So I'll pass it over to Councillor Booth, because I'm sure that he will shed some light on the situation in a better way than I can.
No, you said it very well. I mean, the one good news that we did receive at our last meeting is at least the toluene is not detected at the closed Grafton landfill. So this testing is at least ruling out where it's coming from, but they still don't know where the trace amounts are coming. Also, the good news is Troy has had it posted now, I see, on Bid and Go and the website. The new RFP for the water expires this year. So that'll be very interesting. I don't know if you want to make a comment on that, Troy, or not, but the contract is up at the end of the year and we'll see what happens then.
Yeah, I've looked online this morning, and there's a couple document takers, so it's out, so which is good. So we'll have a good competition for it. But I'll just also stress that you know, with GeoCamp, I met with the manager of Lucy the other day with MOE, and again, the numbers are extremely low and extra testing is being done. So there really is no reason for an alarm or anything like that. So Ministry of Environment's heavily involved. And so, you know what, hopefully we can get the new well and go forward. So.
Good, thanks. Anything else? Nothing? Okay, I'll call for the vote on 14.1. All in favor? Carried. The next one, 14.2, again, it's more correspondence from GeoCamp. Be it resolved that the correspondence from GeoCamp Limited dated July 14th, 2021, re Grafton monitoring wells with BTEX detection. Update regarding June sampling be received and filed. Could I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Philip and second by Councillor Booth. Any further conversation? All in favor? Carried. Correspondence from Larry Saprika, manager of Water Capital Projects, Lucy. Be it resolved that the correspondence from Larry Saprika, manager of Water Capital Projects, Lucy, re Grafton Drinking Water System, report June 2021 to August 2021 be received and filed. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Philp, Councillor Booth, second. Any further comments or questions? All in favor? Carried. Item 14.4, correspondence from the Lower Trent Conservation dated September 13th. Be it resolved that the correspondence from Lower Trent Conservation dated September 13th, 2021, re the notice of their proposed 2022 fee policy and schedules. The opportunity for public comment be received and filed. So they have dates in here, I think, for people to, are there dates, Mike? I thought I saw dates.
I
but
thought I
maybe-
saw them as well. I don't have that up in front of me
Okay.
right at the moment.
Deadline is October 15th.
Deadline is October 15th for
Yeah,
people to
there,
make
yeah.
comments. I knew I saw one somewhere. Okay.
Yep.
I think that's about a 3% increase in their fees.
It looks to me like that, but does that include the levy as well?
I wouldn't think so. I think it's just their fee schedule. That's
Yeah,
what I got out of it.
That's what you have to be aware of, is that it's a double, usually a two-step process.
And maybe we should review through planning. Do we send every single thing to Lower Trent? Do you know, Troy?
I'm not sure. I'd have to ask Jennifer.
Because if those are the costs and they don't have comment, or some of those applications don't need Lower Trent input, I'm wondering if they should, if we do send them, if they should be stopped. That way it's a savings to the township and to residents. So you can check on that then?
I'll look into it.
All right.
I think most things do.
Just a question, because there's a comment there that it says no fees apply to applications for municipality-led initiatives. So do we get charged for that from them? No.
No, all our application fees are waived.
Yeah, so if they review something for us, like through planning or something, we don't get dinged again, I don't believe.
Well, the people have to pay it,
Yeah.
right? So sometimes it may not always be necessary.
But when Public Works, is replacing a culvert and we have to get Lower Trent, go through the application, there's no fees attached to that.
Okay, any other comments or questions on this one? All in favor? Whoops, do I have a mover in a second?
No,
No. Okay, I need a mover. Counselor Booth, second. Deputy Mayor Gibson, sorry about that. All in favor? Carried. Item 14.5, correspondence from Cornerstone Family Violence Prevention Center. Dated September 14th, and it's a proclamation for International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. Be it resolved that the correspondence from Cornerstone Family Violence Prevention Center dated September 14th, 2021, request for proclamation and flag raising on November 25th, 21 be received, and we need council's direction on this. So can I have a mover, please, with direction? Councilor Bruce? Second, Deputy Mayor Gibson? To support Craig, or?
Yeah, sure. Just a question though, too.
Okay,
Do they supply us with the flag, or are they just giving us a picture of what the flag should look like and we order it?
They can supply us with the flag. Sorry, I'm not on.
Okay.
But they do, yes. I
Okay.
sent them an email asking that question.
Okay, thank you.
all in favor? Carried. Item 14.6. And
Sorry, Madam Mayor.
yes,
There was a proclamation form there as well.
yeah, I saw that.
I'm not sure if you wanted to read the proclamation out at this point in time. I do believe that they're looking at November,
25th.
yes.
I was wondering if you were going to bring it back for the first part of November.
If you want to do that, we can.
It doesn't matter, I can do it either way, but
I probably, closer to the date would probably be better. That way it's fresh in everyone's mind.
yes, that's what I was thinking. So do you want a motion then to bring the proclamation back to a November meeting? Okay, I need a mover. Jim, second by Sherry, all in favor? Okay, carried. So yeah, that'll be at one of our November meetings. Okay, item 14.6. We have correspondence from Northumberland County dated September 15th, proclamation for the month of October as Hispanic Heritage Month in Northumberland County. Do you want me to do these individual, Pat, or all at once?
it's up to you and council.
Okay,
It's easier if you do it all individual.
Okay. Could I have a mover on that one? I can read this resolution if you want it. Whereas the government Ontario has proclaimed the month of October as Hispanic Heritage Month in Ontario, and as Ontario is home to more than 400,000 first, second, and third generation Canadians of Hispanic origin. And whereas the Hispanic community is one of the fastest growing in Ontario, and whereas, I'll change this from Northumberland County then, is home to our township, people in our township and the county with a flourishing Hispanic population. And whereas the county council recognizes the contributions of thriving immigrant community to a strong and vibrant townships and county. And whereas the Northumberland Hispanic Cultural Club is aimed at supporting the Hispanic community as well as educating people on the diversity of the Hispanic culture and traditions throughout Northumberland County. Whereas NHCC is organizing a series of virtual events in Northumberland County in order to promote and celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Phillips, second. Deputy Mayor Gibson, all in favor? Carried. And is it our wish to for the proclamation of Hispanic Heritage Month for October through our council? Yes, no, or just recognize the county?
Sure, we'll make the proclamation. I'll move to make the proclamation time.
Okay, Mike, second. Councillor Booth? So I think I've read most of this. Can I just do now, therefore be it resolved that I, Gail Latchford, Mayor Gail Latchford, on behalf of Alma Calderman Township, hereby proclaim the month of October 2021 as Hispanic Heritage Month in Alma Calderman, and encourage all citizens to learn more about Hispanic culture by partaking in virtual community events. And further be it resolved that a copy of this resolution be sent to Northumberland Hispanic Cultural Club, MP Philip Lawrence, MPP David Passini, and the 7 other member municipalities. Dated today, October 7th, 2021. All in favor? Carried. There are a number of submissions from different municipalities supporting the municipalities' capital gains tax on primary residence. They're asking wait a minute, where do I find it so I get it right here? Whereas primary residents are currently exempt from capital gains tax, and whereas currently secondary and additional non-primary properties are subject to capital gains, and whereas the federal government is looking into a primary residence capital gains tax, as they have recognized that affordable housing has become a serious issue in Canada. And whereas smaller municipalities, including ours, are seeing unprecedented higher selling prices that are outpacing prices in larger cities, and whereas many hardworking Canadians have only primary residence with no additional non-primary homes count on their home equity as financial aid to apply to upsizing or downsizing their home, depending on their personal situation. And whereas a change in taxation to primary residence would be a significant financial blow to Canadians and would create an unfair two-tiered taxation, which could lead to depleted savings, intergenerational disparities, disparities among diverse groups such as seniors, who may have a significant portion of their savings vested in their primary residence, as well as reducing the ability of home ownership, therefore a further higher need for rentals. And whereas the federal government could look at other means to slow down the rapidly escalating housing costs to improve housing affordability. Now therefore it be resolved that the federal government cease further consideration of eliminating capital gains tax exemptions on primary residence. And further, that a copy of this resolution be circulated to the Right Honorable Justin Trudeau, the Honorable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, all members of Parliament, all members of Provincial Parliament, the Regional Municipality of Niagara. We don't need that. And just the other municipalities that we would support non-taxing of capital gains on primary residence. Do you wish to support that? I've got about, they keep going here. You've probably read them and seen them. How do you feel?
Madam Mayor,
Yes?
This is just additional correspondence that we've received based on the capital gains tax. I believe in previous meetings.
Yes, we've already done it.
supported
Okay,
I believe you've already supported this.
good. Now that I've read it, we can receive and file it. Moved by Sherry, seconded by Mike. All in favor? Carried. I see them at county too, and then I get thinking that we've done them or we haven't. The next one is the city of Quinte West and its support for the establishment of the Southeastern Ontario Production Accelerator Fund. Not sure how you feel about this. I had an email from one of our residents who was hoping we would support this. It was Mr. Botha, and he's quite interested in this being created in our area, but I'll let you make the decision. Do you want to receive and file it, or do we want to take it further? Anyone? Creates job growth and bring in new revenue. It's a bold initiative, and it focuses on regional growth where it's needed, according to Quinte West. Anybody have any feeling about this?
Mayor,
Yeah.
where does the fund actually come from? Is it government funded or is it?
I'm not sure. I know that there's been a lot of talk about this. We're hearing it, that they, it brings in opportunities for shows to come into the area. They rent buildings, they eat, they stay. So it's that sort of type of work. So Grafton could be on TV in Murdoch Mysteries or something like that. And I think we already have been, haven't we? This area was on for one show. Do you want to receive and file it or support?
I'll support it. I think anything that stimulates growth in our area or has the possibility of stimulating economic growth is a good thing. So I'll make the motion to support it.
Thank you. And I think we have a few buildings and areas around that possibly some would be interested in. I don't think we have a policy in place. As far as them coming in, we didn't at one time. Is there a seconder? Jim, any further discussion? All in favor? Carried. And AMO Communications, September 28th is Dress Purple Day.
27.
Is that 27?
The day is the 27th, so
Oh, October
Correspond- yeah.
27th. Yes, sorry. This is for the Children's Aid Societies across Ontario. And I think we should support this one. Moved by Sherry to support.
Yeah.
Second,
Counselor Phillip.
Counselor Philip. All in favor? October 22nd, wear something purple. I think the next two are receive and file. Kate Manson Smith, Deputy Minister, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, MMAH, dated September 17th, Ontario Proof of Vaccination Guidance for Business and Organizations. And Steve Clark, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, MMAH, dated September 29th, 2021, re-expiry of the temporary regulations 130/20 and 131-20, limiting municipal authority to regulate construction noise. We can do those two together to receive and file. Can I have a mover? Counselor Phillips, second. Deputy Mayor Gibson, all in favor? Carried. Item 15 is bylaws, and our first bylaw number 106, 2021. Being a bylaw to authorize the signing and execution of the agreement for the West Northumberland Joint Physicians and Recruitment Board. Be it resolved that bylaw number 106-2021, being a bylaw to authorize the signing and execution of an agreement between the town of Cobourg, Municipality of Port Hope, Township of Hamilton, Township of Crammy, and the Township of Alnwick-Haldeman to create a joint services board known as the Joint West Northumberland Physician Recruitment and Retention Services Board, be read and deemed to be passed this 7th day of October 2021. Have a mover, please. Deputy Mayor Gibson, second. Councillor Hogg, all in favor? Carried. 15.2, bylaw number 107-2021, and this is reducing the speed on Mercer Lane. Be it resolved that bylaw number 107-2021, being a bylaw to reduce the speed of motor vehicles on a portion of the street municipality known as Mercer Lane, be read and deemed to be passed the 7th day of October 2021. Have a mover? Councillor Phillips, second by Councillor Booth. All in favor? Carried. Bylaw number 108-2021, being a bylaw to authorize the signing and execution of an agreement between Her Majesty the Queen in Right of Ontario and the Corporation of the Township of Haldeman for the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program. Be it resolved that bylaw number 108-2021, being a bylaw to authorize the signing and execution of an agreement between Her Majesty the Queen in Right of Ontario and the Corporation of the Township of Alnwick-Haldeman for the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program, ICIP COVID-19 Resilience Infrastructure Stream, Local Government Intake Stream projects be read and deemed to be passed the 7th day of October 2021. And I think if I'm correct, that's the announcement of the trails. So this bylaw, now that the federal election is over, is announcing that we got funding for trails. Do you want to tell us how much? You want to tell us how much?
Sure. It was for $100,000, and I will talk about the project if you want.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so it is a 3-meter wide paved trail that will go around, not the complete outskirts of Haldeman Arena property, but there'll be about a 0.6 kilometer paved trail located in the park that will join into the 1 kilometer wooded trail. So It will start at the entrance of Haldeman Arena parking lot, and it will carry on basically the tree line all in behind, and it will go over towards the seniors village home. So it's paved, so fully accessible. There'll be two-way traffic, and hopefully, and the committee will come up with some ideas that can go along the trail, whether it's some exercise stuff or some information of heritage information. So it's an exciting project, and it will be started right away, or it has started. So it's good for the community.
Thanks, Troy. And if you can pass this on to the staff that submitted all that, Pat, Carol, those who worked on it, thank you. All in favor? Carried.
Did you, I don't have a mover second.
Oh, who was I looking at then, thinking they did it? Have a mover? Counselor Phil, second? Deputy Mayor Gibson? All in favor? Good, carried, thanks. Might be something too, Troy, the men's shed could get involved in.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, no, notice of motions and announcements. Deputy Mayor Gibson, you're first.
None at this time.
Counselor Phil,
Not at this time.
Counselor Booth,
None at this time.
Counselor Hogg,
I went on Zoom with the Safe Committee meeting, and there's still a lot on hold because of COVID. But there's been a number of misses reported involving cyclists and cars. And we're going to get the reflective armbands. We reordered them, and we're going to get them back out free to any cyclist that wants them. And there's also been quite a number of near misses and 2 accidents involving farm equipment and vehicles. So we're urging all farmers to get even the magnetic 4-way flashers on their equipment, because days are getting shorter and time is the essence, and everybody's working harder and longer, and everybody's driving faster. So we feel to keep everybody safer, we should, if everybody could get them on. Deputy Mayor in Hamilton Township, I know him well, Scott Jebb. He had 14 flashing lights on his big baler and still got rear-ended. So everybody is beware. That's everything for me.
thanks, Jim. I have a couple of things. First off, I got a lovely thank you emailed to me this morning from Mark Benz. I'd like to read it to you. Good morning, Gail and council. Many thanks to you and the council for the tribute to Ray yesterday. Your kind words and reminders of Christmas past brought tears to my eyes. He loved being Santa Claus and felt the staff were so deserving. So many memories. I enjoyed hearing all the shenanigans that went on with Terry and Ray. Liam's hear ye speech was touching and special. He is an amazing town crier. Ray would have been proud to see so many people in attendance. Many I had not seen in ages. COVID has been a challenge for everyone. He so enjoyed his times on council, and yesterday was a highlight for his many years. The Centerton Committee was one of his favorites. Thank you for remembering him with the permanence of the park. Happy Thanksgiving to you and council and members and staff. Thank you. Margaret. That was nice. And I just wanted to say October 2nd, Roseneath had horse pulls, and the reason the horse pulls were there, they have to have so many pulls in a year. So they tied in with it music. So we had local people performing there. And as far as I know, they all donated their time, and it was Tyler Cochran, Sean Savoy, and Jeremy Macklin, and he had his band there. So it was donation to get in. There was quite a crowd and I think it was very successful for them and the weather held off and it was a nice evening. So just wanted to give them a plug, the Roseneath Fair Board, Agricultural Society, I should correct myself. So was a job well done. It was donations. I don't know what they made, but they had a big jar there and it looked pretty good. So, and if you recall, they asked us for the beer garden. So that went on as well. It was a nice event. And the other thing, this is new. It's called, I just got it yesterday at my committee meeting. It'll go on County Council October 20th. It's M&A and Hop-In Technologies launched a commuter shuttle for manufacturing employees. So just to keep it brief, there's now a shuttle. And what they will do is go around the county for the manufacturers and pick up employees who don't have the transportation to get to work. And they'll go outside the boundaries as well. At this time, it's $350, and that would be per month. So that works out to an average of 20 days. And I think I wrote it on there. That's with having, that's with having 15 riders. Once the ridership goes up, the fees will come down. So it includes transit to and from the workplace, insurance coverage, COVID protocols, could lead to lower personal auto insurance if they're not using their vehicle to go to work and only use their vehicle for leisure, and its protection during bad month. So as it is right now, this will, they'll go all shifts. So if you know of anyone who has a job or looking for a job, this could be an opportunity for them. And I discussed this with Pat, and probably after county council meeting on the 20th, our meeting's on the 21st. We could have this put on our website. So hopefully it goes well. Just wanted you to be aware of that. And that's all I have for today. Next, we'll be going into the closed session following the adjournment of the regular council session of Thursday, September 2nd, 2021. The Council of the Township of Alnwick-Haldeman will be holding a closed session in accordance with Section 239, 2B, C, and E of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended to discuss personnel matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, and to discuss a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board, and to discuss litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board with the CAO, Deputy CAO, Manager of Finance, HR, Acting Clerk, and Deputy Clerk remaining in attendance. 18 is approval of the confirming bylaw. Be it resolved that bylaw number 109-2021 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the regular council session held on Thursday, October 7th, 2021, be read and deemed to be passed the 7th day of October, 2021. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Hogg, second by Councillor Booth. All in favor? Carried. And item 19, adjournment. Be it resolved that regular council session of council of Thursday, October 7th, 2021 be adjourned at 1:57 p.m. Have a mover? Jim, second by Mike, all in favor? Carried. Okay. You're taking us out, and bringing us back in?